Hello, this is Dr. Smiley. Welcome to the Smile Channel. We are so excited, as you can see from our backdrop, to be starting the Black Bold Leaders of Courage, Authority, and Knowledge, Hour of Power. These are my two partners, my sisters, my fam, and we are opening this event up. It's 28 days long, and this is the beginning. And you're going to see some amazing speakers, hear about some amazing leaders who have changed our world and the power of inspiration. So I'd like to first turn it over to Tanisha Carroll, our director of events, who is coordinating these 28 days of well over 100 speakers. And of course, Dr. Roz, who is going to open up the prayer, which has become part of our institution of every single event. So, Tanisha.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here on this first day of February. We are absolutely elated to have this opportunity to celebrate Black History Month in this fashion with Black Hour of Power, bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge. And what you can expect this month is to hear from leaders, young adults, even young people from all over the world who are going to share historical figures who have influenced and impacted and inspired them. And these are people who maybe live in your neighborhood and or have lived in your neighborhood at some point, and now they are making history or have made history. The wonderful thing I love about this is that we're not only talking about our people from the 60s and the 70s, but we're talking about people who are making Black history today. They are changing the world right now. And so we are focused on amazing historical figures and people who are currently making history, and they get to speak. Each individual gets to speak for 8 minutes and say whatever they want to say about the amazingness of their historical figure, how they made history, and how that person personally impacted and inspired them. And I am super excited, because I'm going to talk about Toni Morrison. And she really encouraged me when I was young and without even knowing it. And she made a lot of history during my young adult, or not young adult, but high school years was when I really began to know about her. And so I am excited about the opportunity to hear about so many other amazing Black leaders.
And I just want to echo the fact that this is going to be very interesting how these people that we know and love in our life, we didn't know that there was someone that they looked up to that caused them to be a better person. And I hope that the three of us inspire people that maybe one day they'll say, I watched that show and now I play bigger in the world. I make the world better. And I do want to move to the side for a second, just say that is a logo that was created by Daniel Petamonte, and he has done so many of the book covers. And our intention, by the way, is every time we do an event that's powerful, that it ends up being a book. And it's in God's hands, but we believe that this information is so valuable, it should be legacized. So with no further ado, Dr. Roz, you're looking cool. Oh, by the way, there's one more thing I want to say. Dr. Roz and I would like to say Black History Month starts on the 1st of February because we have a birthday girl. And that birthday girl you just heard from, Tanisha Carroll. So we are so excited. I was very excited when I said, let's start the 1st of February and go, well, that's my birthday. I said, well, then this is a good sign. Roz, go ahead, take it away.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, blessings to February. So long, January 2026, right? It's been moving right along and fleeting. And what more than to hang out with folks when it happens to be a bold Black leaders. I did two B's, right? Bold Black leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge. And what's so awesome about this is because of our friend, our visionary, our business partner, Dr. Ken Rashawn. Because as far as I can say, he sees rainbows every single day. He sees lovely rainbows every single day. And if you notice Tanisha, Minister Tanisha's name, and also notice my name, You see, she mentioned Toni Morrison. Well, guess what? Minister Tanisha Carroll is who I elected to be able to talk about being Black, a Black leader who is of authority, who is of courage and knowledge. So stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. So I'm going to open us up in prayer. Father God, we just come before you. We honor you as the author of history and the giver of purpose. During this Black History Month, we thank you for Black leaders who have raised men and women of authority, anchored in righteousness, of courage, forged through resistance and resilience, and of knowledge, sharpened by wisdom, truth, and discernment. We declare that their voices were not accidental, their assignments were not in vain, their sacrifices were not wasted. Strengthen today's leaders to walk boldly without fear, to speak even with love, and to lead with humility and excellence. Cover them with divine protection, the ancestors and the new of this day and age. Give clarity of mind and purity of heart. Let their legacy ignite future generations to lead with integrity, justice, innovation, and faith. May their lives continue to testify that when you call, you equip, and when you position, you empower. We thank you for the shoulders we stand on and the paths they pave. We move forward with gratitude, responsibility, and vision in this February month, which is really a everyday, each and every year. In Jesus' mighty name, we say amen, amen, and amen.
Amen.
Man,
I would
amen.
like to I would like to just share the part that maybe is not being said about this is that people of all races, religions are speaking this month. And the reason they're speaking is because as a human race, we are stronger when we celebrate each other. And you're going to be invited, if you'd like, to participate, to share, and to wake up the world that every single person matters on this planet. And when you celebrate someone that you don't relate to, you actually learn why they not only belong, but why they can partner with you. And imagine just speaking English. You can only speak to so many people on the planet, but add the language of Spanish to someone who can't speak English. Now you've just furthered your reach and your communication. A smile is the universal expression of love and acceptance. And we have the Smile Channel here to actually awaken you and inspire you that anybody can change the world. We are honoring 168 Black leaders that have done so.
That is
Thank you
so
all so
awesome.
much for being with us today. And we look forward to some of you signing up to be a part of this very special event. So make sure that you click into the description box and click the link and join the conversation. Join the conversation and share it. Share this link out so that you every day in, did we say that every day in February? Every day we're going to be sharing for 1 hour about amazing Black leaders, and you can be a part of it. So we look forward to hearing from you and seeing the impact that this is having on you and your community. Join us. We'll see you soon.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Cyrus Prescott. I am the author of the book Authentic Momentum, which hasn't come out just yet, and also the leader of the Authentic Momentum movement. And I'm happy to be here to present the wonderful number of people that are here to speak about inspirational Black leaders who has led and paved the way today. And I'm here, and I'm going to be speaking about Robert F. Smith. And I want to start like this. When I was asked to speak for the Black History Month, I didn't want to talk about someone simply because they're famous. I wanted to talk about someone who changed the way I think. Not just about success, but about systems, very important, about structure, about longevity. That led me to Robert F. Smith. What drew me to Robert F. Smith wasn't his wealth or his accomplishments or even the headlines people knew of him. What drew me to Robert was how he thinks. He doesn't move emotionally. He doesn't chase moments. He builds architectures, and that matters to me. We live in a world that celebrates hustle, speed, grinding, but Robert F. Smith represents something different. He represents discipline, repeatability, design. He didn't just build a successful company, he built a playbook that could work again and again and again. That's not luck, that's engineering. He comes from an engineering background, and you can feel that in everything he touches. He doesn't ask, how do I win once? He asks, how do I build something that keeps winning, even when I'm not in the room? That question changed how I look at success. What really resonates with me is his belief in structure of freedom. A lot of people think rules limit you, but in reality, rules remove chaos. Systems removes guesswork, and guesswork disappears. Clarity shows up. That's where real freedom lives. Another reason I gravitated towards Robert F. Smith is how he uses capital. To him, money isn't a trophy, it's a tool to remove friction, a tool to unlock access, a tool to change outcomes. When he eliminates student debt for the graduating class at Morehouse, that wasn't just generosity. That was a structural intervention. One decision collapsed decades of financial pressure for hundreds of families. That's leverage. That's thinking in systems. What also stands out to me is how quietly he moves. He doesn't perform success. He doesn't perform Black excellence. He doesn't ask to be validated. He just executes at the highest level. And that's all we can really ask for. That matters to me greatly because it shows another way forward, a way that doesn't rely on noise or proving anything, just competence, consistency, and responsibility. Robert F. Smith also focuses on institutions, not just influence. Influences fades, institutions endure. He invests in education, in infrastructure, in pipelines that outlive individuals' efforts. That's legacy thinking. Not what can I get, but what can I keep working after I step back? That question feels especially important right now. We're entering a future shaped by technology, by AI, by capital concentration, by rapid change. In moments like this, we don't just need inspiration, we need instruction. Robert F. Smith shows us that the future belongs to system builders, people who design frameworks, people who think in decades, people who understand leverage over force. What inspired me most was realizing that I wasn't just admiring his work, I recognized the direction, the commitment to coherence, the focus on long-term outcomes, the belief that intelligence should be built into systems, not trapped in individuals. Black history isn't only about who survived, it's about who designed futures, who create structures that allowed others to move forward with less resistance and more possibility. So when I think of Robert F. Smith, I don't just see a black man. I see a reminder that our greatest power is not how hard we push, but how intelligently we build. And the question I want to leave you with is this. What are we building today that will still be working when we're no longer in the room? And that's the powerful question that I want to leave everyone with, because the way things are happening, the way things are changing in the world, it's going to take leaders like Robert F. Smith, like the ones that we have on this call, to be able to make the changes that the world needs to see. And I'll leave off with this before I introduce the next person. Be the change in the world that you want to see. And with that being said, we have a roster of other special people that has their inspirational black leaders that they're going to speak about. And I want to give the floor to a few of them. I'm going to start with Mr. Paul McFadden, which he'll give a proper introduction and explain or speak about the person that he has in mind.
Good morning. My name is Paul McFadden. I am the CEO of Evolve Human Potential. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Navy Reserves, and I'm a leadership alignment strategist. And today I want to honor a man who first showed me what leadership looks like before I ever understood the real weight and gravity of it. So on June 10th, 1992, I graduated from the United States Merchant Marine Academy, and our keynote speaker was the late and great General Colin Powell. Now, at the time, I didn't realize it, but I was about to receive a leadership imprint, one that would stay with me for the rest of my life. On that day, I didn't just hear a commencement speech, I witnessed a standard. In his presence, General Powell stood with quiet authority. There was no bravado, no performance, no need to prove anything. And what struck me wasn't simply what he had accomplished, though he had accomplished, his accomplishments were extraordinary. General Powell made history as the first Black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was later the first Black U.S. State Secretary. His passing in late 2021 was a great loss to his family, a great loss to this country, to the military, and to humanity. But history remembers him not only for the positions that he held, it remembers him for the standard that he carried while holding them. On that day, as he spoke, there was weight to his words, not because he was a general, but because there was integrity and honor behind each one of them. That day shaped how I understood leadership and has stayed with me long after being discharged and no longer wearing a uniform myself. This month's event asks a very powerful question. Who inspired greatness in you during this hour of power? And while I've had many exceptional role models and mentors in my life over the years, for me, the answer is very clear: General Powell. And it was his leadership that embodied what it truly means to be a Black leader, not as a slogan, but as a lived discipline. So be bold. And General Powell showed me that bold leadership doesn't shout. It stands tall and it holds the line, particularly when it would be easier just to move it. L, leadership, or leader of authority. His authority didn't come from his rank alone. It came from trust. It came from consistency. It came from doing the hard things, especially when no one was watching or clapping. That kind of authority can't be demanded. It's something that is truly earned. A, I slipped this in as accountability. General Powell modeled something very rare: radical self accountability. He understood that leadership means owning the outcomes, not outsourcing the blame, especially when the cost is personal. C represents courage. His courage wasn't reckless, it was very principled. The courage to speak truth upstream, to tell leaders what they really needed to hear versus what they wanted to hear. To be able to do that is true strength. And the K represents knowledge. For General Powell, knowledge wasn't just information, it was wisdom shaped by service, experienced, refined by reflection. Knowledge used in service is something larger than self. Now, as a young man, while serving in the U.S. Naval Reserve, I didn't aspire to General Powell's titles. I aspired to model his character. If he were alive today, he'd likely not even remember my name. And though I did have the honor of speaking with him in a small group during my graduation weekend, he and I never spoke privately. And yet, by his example, he mentored me from a distance, from afar. And that example is why today I strive to lead as a Black leader, bold in conviction, grounded in authority, courageous in truth, and disciplined in knowledge. By showing me what leadership looked like when no one was performing, yet everyone in the world is looking, and everyone and everything is on the line. Black history is not only something we celebrate, it's something that we are responsible for carrying forward to the legacy through how we lead, how we choose, and how we carry ourselves when no one is watching. And here's the quiet truth I've come to trust over time. The leaders we remember the most are not the loudest leaders, nor are they the most visible leaders, but they are the most anchored leaders, anchored in integrity, anchored in service, and anchored in something deeper than success. General Powell taught me this. Leadership is not proven in moments of comfort, but in moments of consequence. Thank you for honoring the leaders who shape us, and thank you for choosing to become one. Thank you.
Paul, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you for your acknowledgement of, Dr. Powell. I'm next going to introduce Brandy Alexander.
Hello, everyone. Grand risings. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's such a blessing to be here. Such a blessing to be here. My name is Brandy Alexander, and I am the founder of Branded by Brandy. Yes, and Branded by Brandy is a brand that focuses on pushing women to be their most excellent self. Okay. I believe that women should continue to strive to be the best that they can be in everything that they do. I'm also a brand and identity strategist, and I work at the intersection of beauty, energy, and self expression, helping women step into their next season with clarity, peace, and purpose. Amen. But before I was any of those things, I was a woman searching for language, searching for permission, searching for a way to be powerful without becoming hardened. And that is why this Black History Month, I choose to venerate Bell Hooks as my historical Black inspiration, as my Shiro, and as the ancestor that I walk with. Black History Month is not only about remembering who came before us, it's about choosing whose wisdom we allow to shape us now. Bell Hooks, who intentionally wrote her name in lowercase, did not seek to center herself. She sought to center truth. Born Gloria Jean Watkins in segregated Kentucky, Bell Hooks became a cultural feminist, a critic, a theorist, an educator, an author whose work reshaped how we talk about race, gender, love, power, and liberation. She made history by doing something radical. She told the truth, and she told it with love. Bell Hooks challenged systems of domination, patriarchy, racism, not just as political structures, but as forces that shape our inner lives. She taught us that oppression doesn't only wound society, it wounds the spirit. And instead of separating intellect from emotion, theory from lived experience, she insisted they belong together. She brought love into spaces that told us love didn't belong. Academia, activism, feminism, leadership. She wrote, "Love is an act of will, both in intention and in action." That sentence changed my life because bell hooks helped me understand that leadership does not require domination, that authority does not require disconnect, that knowledge without compassion is incomplete. She inspired me to become the kind of leader I now name as B.L.A.C.K, a leader rooted in boldness, guided by authority, grounded in courage, and anchored in knowledge. Bold because bell hooks modeled what it means to speak truth even when it disrupts comfort. Authoritative because she showed that authority comes from clarity, not control. Courageous because she named hard things without abandoning humanity. Knowledgeable because she honored lived experience as sacred data. Bell hooks taught me that power does not have to be loud to be effective, that softness can coexist with strength, that love is not weakness, it is strategy. She believed education could be liberatory, that classrooms could be sacred spaces, that learning could be mutual. She called this engaged learning. But what she was really offering was an ancestral practice of communion. She made history by refusing to fragment herself and by giving the rest of us permission to do the same. And in my work today, helping women align their identity with their purpose, their energy with their expression, their brand with their truth, I hear bell hooks everywhere. When I tell women they don't have to perform to be powerful, that's bell hooks. When I say leadership can feel peaceful, that's bell hooks. When I insist that beauty, clarity, and self-expression are not frivolous, but liberatory, that's bell hooks. She reminds me that branding is not about spectacle, it's about integrity. That leadership is not about dominance, it's about presence. That liberation is not a destination, it is a daily devotion. So this Black History Month, I light a candle for bell hooks, not because she is gone, but because she is guiding in how I lead, in how I teach, in how I love. She is my shero because she showed me that freedom begins within and radiates outward. And in choosing her as my ancestor, I chose to lead boldly, with authority, with courage, and with knowledge, rooted always in love. Thank you.
Wow, Brandy, that was amazing. Thank you for your acknowledgement of bell hooks. That's absolutely amazing. We have our next speaker up, Mr. Faizan Manzoor. We're gonna keep what he's speaking about as a surprise, but he's gonna come on now and give you his inspirational leader right now.
Azuka 2K, please.
Hello, Tanisha. You have me up next, or?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my inspirational leader is Dr. Martin Luther King, and he's a hero of mine. Um, Growing up in a society and world now where leaders such as him in are not in abundance, it kind of brings to mind his life, um, what it stood for, and his death and what it meant. A few weeks ago, on his birthday, I chose to spend some time reflecting on his life and his death. But rather than just pay lip service to it, I wanted to feel into his life and feel into his death. And a few things came up for me. The first was his sacrifice. You know, the nights that he might have wanted to be home with his wife and children, the times where he had to bear the burden and carry the weight and of all the hopes of all the people that he was serving. The the times when he had to endure death threats and endure threats to his life on a regular basis, and not only his life, his family's life as well. That sacrifice is something that is emblematic to me of the leader and the man that I wanted to be. He also had conviction that was beyond measure. It's one thing to say and to state the things that we want in this world. It's an entirely different thing to walk that walk and lead by example and not turn away in the face of adversity, of which he faced a lot. Dr. King's message was something that he was steadfast on. He put time and effort and energy into it in a way that few people will ever see or know. And that type of conviction has become the model for me in the messages that I want to give and send to the universe and the ways that I want to serve humanity. Dr. King also showed what true leadership was. You know, they talk about leadership being the being willing to go into places that others won't. And the places that Dr. King was able to walk into and was determined to walk into showed his leadership on a regular basis. There was no questions. Everything was clear. You never had to wonder about where his energies lied. And that conviction galvanized an entire nation and a world in the civil rights movement to change the way that we see equality forever. And because of that leadership and that conviction and that sacrifice, Dr. King was able to do things on a scale not seen up until that point. But of all these things that he endured, all these things that he embodied, the greatest of them all was love. And this became the number one thing that I took away from Dr. King was he embodied love for humanity and love for mankind. He understood that we are one. We are one people. And he was one of the first people that I was able to be introduced to who understood that the separateness that we see amongst each other is quite an illusion. And he operated in such a way as to dissolve those lines of separation. And that became a huge catalyst for myself and the man I would become. Love is something that, if we took some time to look at it, is the answer to nearly all of our problems. If you want to fix politics, look at it from a prism of love. If you want to fix human relations, look at it from a prism of love. If you want to fix poverty, world hunger, look at it from a prism of love. Dr. King understood this. He understood that the love of humanity is the number one ingredient necessary for peace, for abundance, for joy. And he inculcated that in every single thing that he did. The message of love was always present. It was Dr. King who said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. That mantra, that saying became a cornerstone for everything that I became, everything that I'm becoming. And in Dr. King's message was something that changed my life forever. And now I use love as a focal point, as a strategy for everything that I do. It is my movement, is love. The idea is to create a world where we remember what it's like to love each other. We remember what it's like to put that first, where the illusions of fear and separateness dissolve into a place where we can actually now spend our time in love with the next person, whether it be the things that we say or the things that we do or the ways that we create, the thoughts that we can conceive, where we can go. Let it be cradled by love. And in doing so, you will further Dr. King's work. In doing so, you will create a world that we want to live in. If you get up in the morning every single day and you look at the world and you see the violence and you see the separateness and you see the separateness, and it's a world that you don't want to live in, all you have to do is close your eyes and live into Dr. King's message a little bit. Remember his sacrifice. Remember the conviction that he lived with. Remember what it's like to be a leader, what it's like not to just talk about what you want, but to stand up for what you want. What it's like to be in truth for these things, to live in that truth. And most of all, what it's like to love each other. And in doing that, this world that you see, that you might not like, that might not reflect your values, that might not reflect the world that you want to live in, that world will change in your reflection and in Dr. King's reflection. So in Black History Month, my hero being Dr. Martin Luther King, I want to say thank you to Dr. Martin Luther King for all that he endured and all he suffered for me. It makes everything that much easier. And it allowed me to be the man I am today, which I love very much. So thank you, Dr. King, for all you've done. And that is the definition of a mentor, a hero, and somebody that I look up to and follow. Thank you, Dr. King.
Thank you very much for that heartfelt presentation on Dr. King, Azuka. It's greatly appreciated. That was very, very touching. And this concludes our speaker panel for this session. But we'd like to bring everybody back on for
We're actually going to have one more person, Dr.
oh,
Dino Duplessis, in the Black Agenda. Dr. Dino, you can come forward at this time. Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, turn your video on.
All right. You're not, because it's disabled by the host.
Uh-oh.
Okay. There we go. All right. Good morning, folks. Okay, I guess I just started talking. I was going to ask me questions. I'm so sorry. Yeah, good afternoon, good morning. I'm West Coast time, 6:30 in the morning at California. I mean, not California, Nevada right now. And today, just get straight into it, man. Thank you guys for inviting me, Dr. Smiley, Tanisha, uh, for having my thoughts and concepts and perspectives. Anytime anybody wants to listen, I am obliged and I just honored. And today, the person I'm going to honor in Black History Month and I want to speak about is number 44, our president, Barack Obama. And it's not because of Barack Obama views or President Trump views, or I don't disagree with any of them. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing about it is what he's done and what he's did to elevate what Dr. King has done so far, like the gentleman was saying earlier before. Dr. King, you know what I'm saying, he was responsible for civil rights, for us to be able to speak our mind and be able to go to be able to go to the business tables, because in order to do business, you have to be civil first. There's no such thing as doing business without being civil. So civility is needed. But in Dr. King's plight, he also started recognizing that economics was a major part, or actually the extension after the civility conversation. So Dr. King initiated us to be able to do the things that we did from the time that he was in the flesh up until, I'll say, 2018, when things started to accelerate for our community, our ethnicity. So civil rights is part of business. So you have to be civil before you start doing business. So the Black Agenda, what we're doing is we're dedicated. Dr. Lance and myself. Dr. Lance is the founder. I'm the co-founder, the vice president of the Black Agenda. And our objective is to create 100 Black millionaires in every sector of the economy by using tech and banking, now known as digital public infrastructure, also known as what you guys know as cryptocurrency. Why does Barack Obama, what does that have to do with Barack Obama? Barack Obama initiated the act or the law that was put in place for us to actually do these things and be able to economically create money on a digital platform and be able to excel in the tech and in the tech world and the internet world. The Jobs Act was signed on April 5th, 2012. And the reason most people don't know about the Jobs Act is because of the word jobs. When our president got in, when the first black president got in, you know what I'm saying, what we thought about was, you know what I'm saying, save you. Everything is good, and he did save us, you know what I'm saying, in his man of economics. So let me continue explaining. So um, the Jobs Act was signed April 5th, 2012. 78 years after regulations was put in place for not just black people of impoverished situations were put out of the economic plight as far as Wall Street and invested in private companies. This was all about private investing and making sure that businesses get funded. So let me go back and let you guys know what is the Jobs Act. The Jobs Act was a bipartisan legislation that was put in place because to upstart or jumpstart startup businesses and also make regulations a little bit lighter for emerging growth businesses also. So what it did, it pretty much knocked down a whole lot of legislations and laws to make it easier for you to gain funding for your ideas. Barack Obama did this, like I said, on April 5th, 2012. What's significant about that is what happened 78 years before that. 78 years before that, Black Wall Street, 79 years before that, Black Wall Street happened, Tulsa, Oklahoma, where you had a thriving black community that was thriving not off of government assistance, but off of community efforts and funding their own ideas. It grew into a flourishing neighborhood, a flourishing community, and not just Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was also record a cookie cut all over the United States, and you'll find other stories if you do a little history about it. But like I said, 78 years, right after a year after Black Wall Street, a three-letter entity was put in place called the SEC, Security Exchange Commission. And it was put in place to make sure that the situation that happened in Tulsa don't happen again. And what they did was they didn't pick it. They didn't, after they pretty much warred on the city, you know what I'm saying? What they did is they put up regulations. And these regulations are what most folks are known by, why you will only, and it cut you out of being able to fund if you're not a accredited investor, as they call it right now. You're not able to fund businesses or take part in the funding of businesses while they're private. And when they flourish, you can benefit from them. There were laws and regulations that were put in place, and that people that understood the laws and regulations, they flourished by it. And those that didn't know, it didn't like they didn't want to, they didn't know about them and they couldn't, okay, by law. So when Barack Obama signed this law, what it did was it freed up people that was impoverished, you know what I'm saying, they had ideas of intellect and influence. It freed them to be able to actually express their ideas and get funding through the internet, through peer-to-peer contribution or transactions, we may call it. So this is what Barack Obama did. So a lot of folks, what they would do is they would, I don't say a lot of folks, people would give Barack Obama credit because he was the first black president, you know what I'm saying, which was true. He also instituted Obamacare, changed the healthcare situation. True. He also did major rights for civility and regulation for the LGBTQ community. True. But his main legacy, what everybody is benefiting off of right now, even the president, our current president right now, who we think is going against Barack Obama, but actually what he's doing is he's actually putting in laws that's actually promoting the Jobs Act that was signed. That's why you see a lot of these economic plights that's going on in a lot of these companies that's flourishing right now. They're flourishing because of the Jobs Act. The biggest benefit of the Jobs Act is it is a law, and laws are instituted and they're written down and they're recorded in Congress or whatsoever, I say. But in saying that, the seventh article of that law, I'm not just telling you that we need to take part, just in case people forget that we can take part of the act now. He made sure in the seventh article of the law that it was put in writing that they cannot keep us out and they must tell us everything about it. Barack Obama, like I say, as far as freedom, economics, the civil rights movement, which the Black agenda is a part. Dr. Martin Luther King, yes. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? Many others saying that ran to the plight of civil rights, that got us to the point of civil rights, to get us to the table. such before we can get here now and talk about civil rights. And this is what Barack Obama did. He actually put in a law for civil rights for anybody in poverty could take part so we can actually flourish in America.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Dino. Thank you for
Yes,
being
ma'am.
here and being a part of this. We're going to invite everyone to open up their camera. All right. And look, our illustrious
Dr.
leader.
Smiley, how you doing, brother?
I'm
Your
happy
head
because you're
looking
here.
nice. It's looking nice, smooth, and bald. My other brothers too. I enjoyed you, Coach Zeke.
Dr. Smiley.
I enjoyed you, brother.
Likewise, brother. I appreciate you.
You all as well. Wonderful
Thank you very
presentation.
much for being here, Cyrus. Thank you for hosting. The biggest thank you could give us is helping Tanisha. We have probably 60 more speaking slots, and we want to have a voice for every single person. We want to honor as many different Black leaders as possible. This is an education piece. I certainly appreciate everything that was said today. Very powerful, very caring. We just wanted to continue strong throughout the month.
Sir.
So I think that Tanisha wants us to all be able to kind of culminate our message as well. But I wanted to just interject that part that Tanisha's been working for 2 months to create this for the Smile Channel, because education, leadership, and humanity are our forefront topics. We want to bring people together. That a smile is acceptance, a smile is collaboration, and a smile is a positive way of addressing how you want to live life. So thank you all for being here. Tanisha, I'm going to turn the floor to you. I want to intercede that because you have done so much work, and I want it to be easier for you, not that you have to go and find more people. These wonderful leaders know leaders.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I want to just thank Cyrus for hosting and helping us this morning. And as Dr. Smiley said, definitely want to invite those who are here and also those who are watching to be and join a part of the conversation. Go ahead and sign up on the link, which is in the YouTube channel. And if you don't know, just need some support, you can always email events@perfectpublishing.com. And so I want to give everybody just an opportunity to have one last word about what you heard from your other speakers and just the opportunity to share what this hour of power, this daily hour of power really means for the world. Let's start with you, Cyrus, our host.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Dr. Kemp, for having me on again as host, and just for these opportunities to engage with such wonderful people, right? I think the primary thing I see here is unification of great energy, right? Great energy always attract great energy, and then each person expressed their difference of perspective or about the person that they're speaking, but from that same source of great energy, which brings in commonality, right? And I think that's where we need to start expanding and expressing from. And I think Dr. Smiley's platform enables that very, very well. So once again, thank you, Dr. Smiley, and thank you all each for your acknowledgments and your expressions. They were very heartfelt. They were very profound in this way, and I would love to actually connect with each one of you and get to know you a bit more and see how we can synergize and build together.
I'm committed that you'll have a group text later today putting you all together.
That would be great.
I did want to just say one more thing while Tanisha's thinking who the next person will be. And by the way, let Cyrus do it. So whoever speaks, you pick the next person. But I wanted to say that I was in deliberation about who I'd speak about. And because God has it that there are 168 slots and we have many slots still available, I will say that we are not going to ever prevent someone from saying, my second favorite was this person, and that person was not spoken about. So I am speaking about Frederick Douglass on the 12th, but because there's so many slots open, I am also going to speak about Dr. Ben Carson. So I don't want to have it that someone speaks 4 or 5 times, but if you have a second person, I will tell you that there is a lot of praise for Martin Luther King, for Maya Angelou, and for um, Muhammad Ali, and
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Yes. So we, Black History Month is 168. If we have 168 slots, it's not 5 or 10. So let's expand it as much as possible. Let's pick someone that maybe is not known as well, but did so much. And the name is not big, but the results were. So I invite all of you to step up and not only invite people, but if you want that second slot, because you said I really was I was making a difficult choice between this person, talk about both. And the way we're doing this book, given that God will fund it through someone that actually sees how powerful this is, we are picking the page is going to be Barack Obama. The speakers will be X, Y, and Z. So the page will always be the leader. The speakers will be the ones that will have the QR codes so you can hear their voice about that leader. That's what our vision is. All right. So Cyrus, why don't you pick the next person, please?
I nominate Brandy Alexander.
Yes,
Nice.
thank you, Cyrus, and thank you, Dr. Ken, and thank you, Tanisha, and happy birthday, because I know it's your soul return. One thing that I heard from a majority of people, but I think Coach Zeke leaned in on this, was love. And in dealing with the work of womanhood, the sacred circle of the divine femme, the number one thing that I espouse is to wake up loving yourself every day, to give yourself permission to love every single part of who you are. And I think everything that's happening on the earth right now, all of the energy, the chaos, everything can be tempered in the energy of love. Love is the strongest force that we're able to operate in as humans on this earthly existence. And it's something I truly believe in. And I think we all fight the good fight of faith, um, protecting not only our peace but our love, and how we love ourselves and how we love others. And so I am here as an oracle and a beacon of light, to share that not only with all women, because I specifically deal with women, but Black women. I think Black women need to hear it the most. We have to champion ourselves. And and with the work I do, I have a number, because I have a multitude of different friends. And they all want to join our circle. And I have to be intentional on saying, hey, I have these other circles that I don't mind leading with all the women. But here, when it comes to Black women, there's a specific love that I must uplift. And so I just say that to say, I hope everyone moves forward this month with an energy of love, and know that every time you show up in a space and you send that love, you're being divinely aligned. You're operating in your highest self, and you're operating in God's love. And that's all that we can ask for anyone. So I, again, thank you, Dr. Ken. Thank you, Tanisha. Happy birthday. And thank you, Cyrus. You were the host with the most. So thank you.
Happy birthday, Miss Tanisha. All right.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Okay, Brandy, you can choose who goes next.
I nominate Paul.
Thank you for that, because I do have to drop here in a moment. But I certainly want to kind of echo Brandy's sentiments and Code Seek. We talk about love, and I think that, as I think about humanity, I think that as we all get older, we all start to kind of evolve into this space where it's bigger than us as individuals. And we come to that realization that there is this connection between all of us, and the ultimate demonstration of that is to realize this love energy is us, right? And it's really about those who steward that message. So we're talking about individuals who were able to communicate that message, and some of those people were taken from this planet because they were communicating that message. And people in the forces that be, if you will, saw that, and with unification comes change. So as long as we stay divided, there is no change. And so I think that the underlying theme and underlying thread is this love that we're talking about, is this humanity that we speak of. And it's really going to be up to those individuals who come to that realization start to shoulder that message. All of those folks that we talk about from the past are gone, right? It's our turn to pick up the mantle. We cannot expect, their brothers and sisters or our aunts or our grandparents or our parents to continue to do the work that we all had the responsibility to do. And so it's really about us coming to that realization that no one's going to do it for you. It's going to be up to us to carry the message forward. That is our legacy, right? But that legacy is not just us. So in this month, the legacy is for all of us as a human race. And so I want to thank you all for your message. I'm sorry to cut my time short, but thank you for the opportunity. I enjoyed hearing everyone speak, and I look forward to continuing the conversation and for us to connect soon in the future.
Thank you, Paul. And would you select our next?
I'm going to go with Coach Zeke.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate you and everybody on this panel. I kind of first want to just thank you, Dr. Smiley. Honestly, what you're doing here is no small thing. People, might look at it as like 10 minutes here and there, but it's the combined force of all of that is earth shattering in terms of its movement. So this is not a small thing, and I want to just say that having someone of your race champion this is equally important. It's so powerful, actually. And when we met, it's funny because people sometimes will say I don't see race, and I genuinely didn't see race. We met and we clicked like right away, and it was literally just a powerful conversation that we had. So I want to thank you for that, Tanisha. Happy birthday. You don't want to be left out on your birthday wishes. I'm wishing you joy and peace. All right. I would say one of the things I want to say is that just piggybacking off of Brandy and piggybacking off of Paul, this love consciousness is what I call, and I just did a talk in Peru on love consciousness a couple of weeks ago, is something that I think we don't realize that more people are tapped into it than we realize. Sometimes when we were out, in the lab doing our work and figuring out how to put the message out to the world, we feel sometimes alone, but it's really just as simple as tapping into that message and continuously talking to the people. You'd be surprised how quickly that people resonate with that. And that's, I think, something that's ultra important in this particular venue. And it's through us, all of the speakers on here, and those who are coming after us to speak, that we can actually do this thing and change the world as we see it, which, it's ironic how many people are in that love consciousness, the vast majority, yet the world reflects something that we don't want to see. I find that to be very interesting. And so that tells me that the message, while most people are harboring it, we're not emanating that, we're not vibrating that message out to the masses as much as we think. So it's through forums like this that we get to do that. And to piggyback off of what Paul said, we are the stewards of that, and indeed one day we will be gone too. So it's like, who do we touch that will carry that message on after us? And it's never about me, it's about the work that I'm here to do, through Source. And so for me, that becomes the number one thing that I take away from this. How do I continue to have that message emanate long after I'm done here? I do what I can and then let the universe do the rest. And what I can do is to be able to have that message emanate through the people that I touch. So I'm grateful and honored to be amongst all of you guys here. And I'll definitely come back on for another one. I have a few people out there, some people who are a little obscure even. So.
Muted.
Yes. And I will.
Thank you. I said I think their families will be very appreciative that their voice mattered in their deeds.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, just piggybacking off what you come, man, it's just an alley-oop and coach being the coach, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do in sport, because this is a sport, you know what I'm saying? Changing the plight of people's mindset is a sport. And talking about the last two speakers is to bring it back, you know what I'm saying? Blacks talking about history, you know what I'm saying? And as far as history, yeah, history, that's what we came on for, to talk about his story and his story and his story. But like Coach just said, what's going on right now? That's why most of the time when I talk about things, I talk about Black Our Story. And another thing that Dr. Smiley said also, we give references to this man, that man. You know, so it's time to get to the point now where we give references to people that's making a difference right now. And my thing is, if you nominate anybody outside yourself, that means you need to check yourself. All the things that you've been talking about, are they words or are you doing? You know what I'm saying? We looked at those stories because those were examples, you know what I'm saying, for us to do what we're doing right now. And I operate by a formula called the triple M formula. And most of the time, and now since Dr. Smiley have gave us this type of platform to introduce ourselves like that, next time when we talk about Black history or Black men, the next man I'm going to talk about is myself, because I've done enough since I've been conscious to know that guess what, my story will be told, and things I'm still doing things right now. That's the reason why Dr. Smiley reached out to us, because our story is being told, and he heard that was my New Orleans came out of me. You heard me. Yes, he heard our story, not his story. He heard our story and said, guess what? Let me go ahead on and tell you. I want you guys to come on and tell folks about your story, let them know that history is still going on. And the part of history that I'm leaving, because I know, I'm saying it for sure, it is on Zoom, I know they're going to talk about the things I've done for thousands of years. I'm saying that now. So in 2020, February 2nd, 2026, 200 years from now, when children are looking back and they're talking about the things that Dr. Dino did, there's going to have history record because of digital public infrastructure, you know what I'm saying, that recorded our records that saying he said 200 years ago that we were going to still be talking about him. You know what I'm saying? So that's talking about Black Oster. How do we do that? You know what I'm saying? What's been what the gods and what the ancestors have gave me is a formula called the triple M formula. How to heal myself first and then tell others. Let me say that first again. How to heal myself first and then go and heal others. And I'm not going to I'm going to get back to what I said, because I had a conversation this week and it came up and say, you don't know who I am. You don't know who I am. I say, hold up. That'll be the audacity of me to tell you, you don't know who I am. You know what I'm saying? When I recognize that you don't even know who you are. So how am I going to expect you to know who I am if you don't know who you are first? That's my job. That's part of my 1,000-year legacy. How are you going to do that, Dr. Dino? The triple M formula: mindset first, movement second, then money. Don't rearrange the order. Mindset, movement, money. And people like us, we understand people that go back door. We understand people that get money because we watch the way that they move, and then we know exactly what their mind's like. And this is destructive. So just flip it right back around, because guess what? Evil and live is the same word. It all depends on which way you're going to look at it. You look at it from left to right as live. You look at it from right to left as evil. How you want to look at it? What's your perspective? My perspective is flip it around. Let's go mindset first, movement, then money. Why? Because subconsciously you can't do anything without God first. God is first. I don't care that the antithesis, what they call it, atheist, it doesn't matter. When something comes down to it, you recognize that there is a higher power that's been elevating you and giving you direction. So if we understand that first, you know what I'm saying, and we give honor and homage to that first, that's the thing that actually propels us to actually want to move the way that we move. So if your mind is right, then you're going to move right. So if your mind right, you move right, you can't even count the money. Matter of fact, you ain't even thinking about the money, because now you're a true steward.
So good.
So
You
love,
know,
it
I
all comes
thought,
back to love. Love is the economy. Love is the fuel, and collaboration is the new currency.
Yes.
amen. I thought DMX and Lil Kim were going to come in here and do the three M's. You know that? So, so I'd like to invite the Black Agenda to help fill the calendar. And obviously, because you're a mentor to many of the people at the Black Agenda, they will certainly be the one. There'll be someone there that says, Dr. Dino is the one who lifted my life. And I'd like to talk about his legacy. So the idea is that this is a way of honoring others, because when you honor others, you're reflecting on yourself of how you've grown. I'd like to also say her story, her story, her story, her story.
Yes,
I would
sir.
love to see as many diversity at the highest level, because that means that everyone is learning in humanity, not just Black people learning about Black people. I would like Asians, I'd like white people, I mean everybody to talk about this month, because this is when we come together and say every race matters. So I just want to say thank you, Cyrus. You are awesome. This man here is so connected. I don't know if you noticed, but I have already connected you all by text. And the reason I did that is I'm a now person. So if there's any need for me now, please ask. What we, or I should say, our birthday girl Tanisha needs now is some peace. She has worked diligently, and this is our first time doing it. I'm not going to say this was easy; it never is. But the idea was we found 28 hosts, and they found their 5, and that was not technically connected that way. So we have kind of a hodgepodge, and so Cyrus is meeting new people, and that is God's way too. You know, God put the 6 of us together today. And so you now each can talk. And I said to Coach Zeke yesterday, I said, the people you will be on this call with, you can add a 0 to your income column because they're that powerful.
Yes, sir. No, we like I said, we're in a technology age. Add 3 zeros to it.
Are the other 3 M's?
There we go.
All right. Well, this is a culminating part of, we went a little over the hour, and it's because it was so powerful. We went further. For those of you listening, please share this. Let the world know that there are very beautiful people who are speaking about inspiring leaders. And remember, one inspiring leader can change the direction you're going, because you're adopting their principles. You're adopting love, as Coach Zeke said. And Randy, thank you for bringing that in, because leadership with love is why we're talking about these people. So thank you. Have a blessed day.
Likewise.
All right, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys.
Thank you so much.